Hello everyone, welcome back to our TypeScript course. In this 5th lesson we will learn about objects in TypeScript and dive into the difference between type and interface. These concepts are fundamental to writing structured and maintainable code in TypeScript. Let's get started. Okay, let's open our code, and before we start it, let's clean our main test file and also delete our JavaScript file. And let's create a simple object. Create new variable and call this variable person. And create new object. This object will have two properties, name and age. Let's create name and add some name like Alisa, and also add age. We can write 25 years. Okay, our object is ready, and in TypeScript you can define objects with specific types for their properties. This helps ensure that your objects have the correct structure and types. Let's add types for our object. We can create new object like type, and like you see, our object has two properties, name and age. And now we can add types our properties. Like you see, our name is string, and we can write string. And also do the same for our age. Okay, and now let's try to change our property using our person, and like you see, our IDE gives us a hint, and it's very useful, especially when you work with a big project, because you always know what will be inside your object or array or other variable. And like you see, we have age and name. Like I said, we'll be using age, and now let's try to change our age 26. Like you see, everything works okay. But now let's try to add string. And now, like you see, we get mistake because we don't can change type our property. If we have string, we need to use in method number, and now everything works okay. But if your variable can be string or number, you can create that your age can be number or string. And like you see, now everything works okay, because now our age can be string or number. Okay, next step, let's talk about type. The type keyword allows you to define custom types, including object types. Let's create a simple example. We can code this code and create new type. We always create type capitalized, and let's writing person. Okay, and now define our object with our types. Okay, and next we need to use this type like type our object. Add here, and like you see, now everything works. This approach will help to divide your code into pieces, and it helps to make your code more clean. Okay, next step, let's talk about interface. We can copy this code and comment this code, and now paste here. The interface keydown is another way to define object types in TypeScript. We can change our type. Now we'll be using interface person, and now we don't need our equal. And like you see, it works the same like types. But you can ask, what's the difference between types and interface? Both type and interface can be used to define object types, but there are some key differences. Interface can be extended using the extends keyword, but type can be combined using intersection types. Let's create an example. Like you see, we have interface person, and now we can extend this interface. Let's add new interface employer. Okay, and now we can extend our employer from our person. Add keyword extends, and also add name our interface. We'll be using person and pass here. Okay, and now we can delete name and age. And let's try to add employer for our person. Like you see, it works the same, but we don't have any types inside our employees. And now we can expand our employee interface. Let's add property salary. It'll be number. And like you see, now our person show mistake because we don't have property salary. Let's try to add this property. And like you see, now everything works okay. And now let's do the same with our types. Comment this code and we can copy our first example and paste below. But first let's delete comments. And like you remember, our type don't can using extend, but we can use something else. Let's create new type employer. And now we can define our type person with new object. And we can add new types inside this object. Let's add salary for our employee type. Create our salary property and it also will be number. And now let's change type our person. We'll be using employee. Like you see, now we get mistake because salary is declared here. Let's add our salary like $700. Okay. Now we don't have any mistakes, and in the end let's talk about union. Type can define union types while interface cannot. Let's create our union. Comment this code and create new type. It'll be our status. And if you work with server using Ajax, Axios, Fetch or other tools, you know about status. We can get success, error or loading. Create the status inside our union. Create success, error and loading. Okay, and now create variable with our status. Create new const status and add type our union. Okay, and now our variable can take three values: successful, error or loading. Let's try to add something, and like you see, our IDE showed that you can using only three values inside your variable. And like you see, we get some mistake. It's strange, but let's try to change name our variable. We can write current status. Okay, now we don't have any mistakes, and I think this information will be enough for today, and in this lesson we learned how to define objects and when to use types or interface. In the next lesson we will explore more advanced features of TypeScript. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and see you in the next lesson.